On telly.
Go on, Frank.
Morning. You well?
Yeah, very well.
Thanks. You should have a few back hopefully for Monday night. How's everybody looking injuries wise?
Yeah, fine. We'd obviously Stephen back training now, which is great. We'd obviously Martin Skirtle that took the injury and we had to come off against Blackburn. So all the procedures in terms of his gradual integration into the group is fine. So he should be available. But we'll monitor that again to make sure that everything is safe and secure with his wellness to play in the game. But it should be fine. Jose Enrique's been in and out of training, so we'll monitor him over the next couple of games. Great news, young John Flanagan's back in training with the group, which is great. So, but again, having to just gradually introduce him into the training. So, and Joe Allen back and fit and well. So yeah, the injury's starting to return.
It'll be useful, won't it, to have players starting to come back and fit again for what is going to be, I'm sure, a very exciting run. What's your assessment of the race for the top four spots at the moment?
I think it's going to be very tight. Of course, if you look at the teams, a number of the teams actually, of course, have been up there for a lot of the season. We've rejoined the race for that in the last 3 months, but we're really looking forward to these remaining games now. Everything counts in the games. You know, we just need to ensure we continue to be aggressive in our game and give everything that we have between now and the end of the season. So, but as you see, the points total is all very close and all very tight. But for ourselves, we just have to focus on the next game, and we know we need to continue playing and working as hard as we have been.
And that next game is Swansea, who at home have been in a good run this season. I think it's 3 defeats in 14 games so far this season.
Yeah, no, they're a very, very good side. As you see, they've been in the top 10 for all of the season and right up there. So young Gary's done a great job there. And Swansea's a place that I've got a great affinity for. You know, I'd spent 2 years there, and the football club welcomed me straight away. You know, Hugh Jenkins and the board were amazing for me. They gave me great freedom to work. And then outside of that, the people of the city and beyond were so welcoming for me, and I had a wonderful time there. So I have a great affinity and like to see the club do well. And they've been doing brilliant, very much an established team. I think the first 3 years you try to establish yourself as a club into the Barclays Premier League, and they've done that, and more than done that. They've continued with the sequence of managers seamlessly, and obviously Gary's been given an opportunity there, but a deserving opportunity. He's a guy that studied the game. He's played with the club right the way through all the levels. He's always been very studious, you know, in the final years of his career as a player, when I was there as a manager. We would talk a lot on football and tactics, and he's had a unique experience really for a player in terms of coming through all the levels, but also played and worked under different managers, similar philosophies but different ways of managing and dealing with players and people, and he's had the opportunity to see that, and now he's gone in as a manager and is able to implement his own ideas with the experiences that he's gained, and I think that of course it is very difficult coming in to the level that he's at, but I think he's dealt remarkably well with it, and he's going to go on and be an outstanding manager.
And just aside from those matters, can you tell us or bring us up to date with what's happening with Raheem Sterling's contract talks? There were suggestions that things might have been put on hold or stalled.
Yeah, no, there's nothing new to report on it. I'm quite relaxed about Raheem's situation. You know, he's not going anywhere in a hurry. You know, we still get this year and another couple of years to go in his contract, and I think anyone who is, I think it's quite obvious, you know, if you look at Raheem's situation, anyone who obviously has the best interests of Raheem will see that Liverpool Football Club at this stage for him is the best option for his career. You know, he's just turned 20 in December. He's over I think about 114 appearances in that period, which is a remarkable amount at a club this size for a young player to be given that opportunity. So, as I said, he's and he's made it clear himself that he loves being here. And for any young player, I think he quoted in saying that this was the best place for any young player to develop. So that makes me quite relaxed with the situation. I'm sure the club and his representatives will find the solution for that. So, but for me, we have the track record here of developing talents, bringing them through, giving them the opportunity, and there'll be more of those players like Raheem that will get the opportunity. And as I said, in his situation, I'm quite relaxed.
Brendan, you've spoken a bit about Gary Monk, but the fact that Swansea are on course this season to make history, they've made history already, but with their points tally return and possible reaching the target that obviously you set and going beyond that as well.
No, they'll beat that. They'll beat that. There's no worries. I think we had 47 points, and the first year that we come up, we had a wonderful run. And you consider we never won an away game until the new year. You know, our home record was terrific. Our performance level was at a high level, but our first away win was away at Aston Villa. I think it was New Year's Day. I think it was. So, but the players in that season were incredible. You know, we'd been promoted the year before. Many players that played in League One and in the Championship. And they brought the confidence of the game and the philosophy into the most competitive league in the world. And they were amazing in that year. It was an incredible journey, and we finished on 47 points. Could have had more, maybe could have had less, but certainly we deserved where we finished. I think that the team has got the confidence now. I've been in the league for a few years, and I'm very confident that they'll go on and beat that, and that'll be great for Gary, great for the club, and also shows that the club is progressing.
Will it be a different test to when it was here in December, because it's a difficult place to go? They've only lost 3 times at home this season.
Yeah, I know as well as anyone. It's very, very tough. Got great support. The pitch is normally wonderful, very fast pitch, and but of course they've had 1 or 2 results that they wouldn't have been pleased with. But either way, we know it'll be a very difficult game. But for us, we're in a great moment. I think for us that, you know, our last performance against Blackburn was at the end of a real tough period of games where, and I've seen all the numbers and all the statistics on it in terms of physically, was the lowest that we'd been for the season. So now we're re-energised and refreshed in terms of mentally and physically, and now we go into a run of games now, starting with Swansea, that we feel we can go in and push on in terms of our level of performance again. So, but we know it'll be tough.
Yes, sir.
After a pretty, as you alluded to there, after a pretty congested fixture list of late, how useful has it been for yourself and the staff to have a free week this week?
Not free, but it's
a week without matches.
Yeah. Well, it's what. Listen, we want the matches, but certainly with what we've got and players returning from injury, then this gives us a great chance to work. So, but no, the players are focusing very well. It's that period of the season where you taper your training, where you've got, you know, you don't need to be as long in your training and your preparation. The players have got a real good level of fitness, so it's more explosive, more intensive, but in shorter blocks. And the players have been brilliant, in all fairness, this week. So they're looking really sharp, looking really confident, and we just want to continue with our sequence of good performances and results.
13 points out of your last 15 away from home. I think it'll be a club record you'll equal if you can keep another clean sheet this weekend in terms of maybe 6 away from home. So why is it that you've been so good at away from home? Is there any specific reason, or is it just come in the form of your general improvement?
I think it's aligned with the overall improvement of the team. I think if you look at our record last year, away from home, it was very, very good. And if you're a team that wants to do well, you have to be able to have that character and resolve and mentality to win away from home. And we struggled at the beginning of the season, but as I said, it follows on really from what we've been over my time here, which, you know, away from home, the space has to open up a little bit more as well. we've got great counter-attack speed when the space does open up, but we've got players gifted technically that can play in the spaces. So, we're on a good moment, but we respect it'll be a very difficult game at Swansea.
Anything from Juice on that time? No?
So just a couple
Sorry.
Brendan, you said a couple of weeks ago about Raheem's contract, you made an incredible offer. Why do you think then, with that in mind and all the positive things you said about him, that we haven't come to a conclusion yet?
I'm not sure. That's not in my area really. So I'll just speak to Raheem about his football and concentrate on his football and see where it goes from there.
You've got a couple of players, Raheem, Jordan, who you can talk about contract with for a while. We get to the stage of the season where it gets to a crucial part of the season. Is that going to be, are you worried that'll be a distraction, or how do the players cope with that?
No, I think it's, as I said, I'm quite relaxed on it. The players are working well, they're concentrated, which is most important, and that side of it they have to leave to the representatives and with the club. So we'll just focus on the football.
Do you find the players are good at doing that, at separating the football side from the business side?
Well, the two players you mentioned there in particular are, it's never easy. But listen, there's players, with all due respect, in League 2 and League 1 who are working on 6-month contracts and 1-year contracts, and it's a lot more insecure at that level than what it is at this level. So I'm sure they'll cope fine, knowing they've got 2 years or 2.5 years left in their deals. But these are two players, of course, that the club want to ensure that are here for the future. And if the model of this football club is to develop the talent and create the world-class players, then of course it's important that we keep those, especially when they're here already. So but that's something the club are working hard to do.
So just one more, please, Brendan. I just wonder what your thoughts were on player behaviour and integrity on the pitch, because obviously Stephen was talking the other day saying that some players will try every trick in the book, and obviously Chelsea got heavily criticised for their performance against PSG in the Champions League the other night. What do you expect from your players when they go out to the pitch?
I can only talk about my own team on that. I think my history as a coach will show that I always try to win games of football whilst having the best sporting behaviour that you can have. People might call it naive, I call it respect. It's, we will do everything we can to win, of course, but for me there's always a line that I would never want my teams to cross, and I think the behaviour of them on the field will demonstrate that in every team that I take. So we want to be super competitive, we want to win, you do everything of course you can to win, but there's a line of behaviour that I will never ask any of my teams to cross, and I think you see that in how they play and how they work.
Thanks guys, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.